We're looking back at something that happened during the mid-60s to 70s. Discrimination, hatred.
It's a very sad thing.
Totally unaware that it was happening within miles of where I grew up.
Many were Latinas, I think about 59%, immigrant, monolingual. And during that time, you have to remember there was a lot of discrimination against people who looked different.
It was really tragic.
They didn't probably understand or were given the right information what this procedure would do to them.
Forced sterilizations.
Forced sterilizations of women.
Tubal ligation. It's a form of genocide.
I couldn't believe it.
They had been sterilized without their knowledge.
I'm a brown-skinned lady with a brown-skinned baby, and I'll keep making more. I'll keep making more. I'm a brown-skinned lady with a brown-skinned baby, and I'll keep making more. I'll keep making more. I'm a brown-skinned lady with a brown-skinned baby, and I'll keep making more. I'll keep making more. I'm a brown-skinned lady with a brown-skinned baby, and I'll keep making more. I'll keep making more. Brown is the color of my hair. Brown is the color of my lover boy stare. Color like a truffle with the hazelnut cream. Brown-skinned baby with the light-skinned dream. I was once told brown wasn't pretty for a lady. Had a parasol ever since I was a baby. Mama, she would tell me stop playing in the sun, but I love to play rough and that wasn't no fun. My family from a region where the Spanish occupied, so my people light-skinned over there, here's why. They mingle with the women, it was more like rape, so I got that illusion in my blood and
LAC+USC Medical Center is here in Boyle Heights. I grew up not too far from here. When I was 17, I volunteered here in General Hospital and was inspired to become a physical therapist, and that's what got me into healthcare. And when this position opened up, I was so excited to come back to serve my community. I've asked myself why this happened here. I think there are biases that exist in all of us. And the bias of certain healthcare providers that certain individuals are more valuable than other individuals is kind of the root of why something like this would happen.
There were women, many were Latinas, I think about 59%, about 240 women that actually experienced tubal ligation and forced. I mean, they were not told, they were not explained what kind of surgery. They came here perhaps to have their child during pregnancy, and as a result of that, they were then subjected to this surgery that they were not fully aware of. There was forced sterilization that took place. We heard it happening in other parts of the country, and here in our very own backyard, this took place with women that may have fallen under that category of undesirable.
And a lot of the women who were at County USC were poor, that went there were poor women. So I wonder how these actions of certain people played out. This is just what we know about. This is just what was brought to us. But we know there's probably more of a hidden history.
It kind of touched me in my gut that denying people the opportunity to have additional children if they wanted them was not something that was just by any means.
What happened to those women in the late 60s and early 70s, and how they were forced into sterilization, and it didn't seem like anyone cared about it.
Whether they spoke a different language, if they came from another country, or they had mental illness or other disabilities, or they were promiscuous, is what I read, and I thought, oh my God, it's a form of genocide.
The reason why we even know how this happened was there was a doctor who was a resident at the LA County USC Medical Center, and his name is Dr. Bernard Rosenfeld. And he noticed that many of these Mexican moms were being coarsely sterilized. A lot of them sometimes would be in labor and given papers to sign off on to be sterilized, and they didn't even know about it. He just noticed like there was no informed consent, and he started researching and looking at files of patients to basically collect evidence that Mexican moms were being coercively sterilized at the hospital. You know, he was writing letters to the government, to DC, trying to find folks who would help, and to no avail. They were trying to hush him. He spoke about this in the documentary No Mas Bebés, like he was afraid of being followed. I mean, it's a big risk for him to whistleblow. So he finally went to Boyle Heights and to a small law firm where he met Antonia Hernandez, who is fresh out of law school from UCLA, 27 years old, and she took his case. And she was the lawyer who helped with the Madrigal versus Killian lawsuit in 1975. I think that's pretty phenomenal. She, along with the help of Comisión Femenil, Gloria Molina, and a lot of activist groups, began finding the moms throughout Boyle Heights, driving everywhere, because a lot of the moms didn't want to do anything about it. They were afraid.
Putting myself in their shoes, it would be a nightmare and a loss that would be almost incalculable. Seriously, just to hold their hands or look in their eyes, if I could, if I had the honor, or if I was in that situation, to get to feel a little bit of what they went through, and just also to have a connection across cultures and across communities as a woman of color, as a mother, understanding or even just imagining, what that experience has been, and to essentially thank them for their resilience, thank them for sharing their stories so that we can make a better world for everybody.
I feel very connected to this story. I would join in their grievance because I am a first-generation American. My parents are both Peruvian. They came to this country in the late 60s. I was born in the early 70s. My mom didn't speak a word of English. There are times that I had to go and interpret for her at the doctor's office. And I always remember feeling this very dooming and inferiority feeling that I had, and I had all these wishes to just have a parent that could speak English and understand and be able to interact with non-Spanish speaking communities. And now when I think about it, these are women that were robbed from that didn't have these resources. At least my mom had the resource of her children to help her understand what was being told to her. When I go to that, I feel pain for them, because this easily could have been my mom, and I could have been the individual that didn't get to live.
Yeah, it's the sterilization of our like aunts and possibly having siblings, possibly having people who are going to build a community along with us. It's just the future of it that I find to be tragic, because I instantly think of what we're not getting, what's not happening. The immediate family, it's a huge loss, very, very much so. But us as a community is a very sad thing. When we lose the future of our communities, the future of who we can be, is very, very tragic.
In 2018, under the leadership of Supervisor Hilda Solis, the LA County Board of Supervisors issued an apology to the more than 200 mothers of Mexican descent at LA County USC Medical Center for being forcibly sterilized.
We wanted a formal apology, but we also wanted to make sure that there could be some memorial preserved here on campus. Los Angeles Arts Commission, which is a part of our county family, helped to provide funding for that, and to be able to record this very tragic part of our history.